Update. I saw my husband and my sister naked in my kitchen. Original post. I can't move. If I move, it becomes real. And I have to accept what I saw and think of what's next. I came home from work early and saw my sister's car, thinking maybe she was dropping off some food from her job. But no, I walk in and see my husband and sister naked in my kitchen. The kitchen I paid for. As soon as I registered what I saw, I got into my car and left. I kept driving. Just driving until I found a hotel I'm at now. I don't want to believe it. I don't know what to do. My sister, my only family, and my best friend, the one who's supposed to be there for me and support me. My husband, my person, my other half, the one who's supposed to love and respect me. The two most important people in my life have ruined everything. I've blocked them both on my phone. I don't want to hear any of the BS excuses they'll come up with. I don't want to confront this. I want to go back to this morning when everything was fine. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Just from a banking standpoint, as I work at a bank, file legal documents intending to separate, open an individual bank account, start your paychecks going there after you've filed your separation papers. I don't know what state you are in, whether it's a community property state or not, but keep everything as clear-cut as possible so there won't be issues down the road. Deal with them with your head held high as you can. Don't take their BS and cry when no one is watching. In front of them, be the badass that you are. They're the lowest of the low, and they will prey on your perceived weaknesses. Best of luck, OP. You need to be in every cheating sub. This is excellent advice, and something I don't think a lot of people know about. Unblock them and just let their calls go to voicemail. Turn the ringer off for each of them in your contacts. That way, you can get recorded proof of their apologies and excuses via voicemail. You may need that type of proof for your divorce. This is good advice. I hope OP sees this. I wouldn't have thought of that. Goodness, my heart breaks for the OP. This is devastating. If they leave voicemails, OP will still have those saved under blocked messages. At least I know that's how it is with iPhones. Just in case, OP may feel like she needs to keep them blocked for their own mental health. I feel like if it was me personally, I would need to. The my only family part is what hit me hard. I'm so sorry, OP. Yeah, we cut contact with our abusive parents 7 years ago. Thought we were supposed to have each other's backs. Always. Yeah, the betrayal is going to be the hardest part to get over. I'm so sorry. I have nothing but empathy for you, OP. Now for the update. Sorry for not replying to comments and not updating. Things have been hectic. I didn't think I needed to explicitly say this, but by naked, I meant they were butt naked and banging in the kitchen. I admit mentioning that I paid for the kitchen was odd and kind of funny. But anyone that knows me knows that the kitchen is my pride and joy. So yes, when I saw my sister and husband going at it in my kitchen, it stuck with me. And yes, they did see me. When I got to the hotel, I cried for a few hours. And then I just wanted to tell someone. Anyone. The two people I would talk to when something happened in my life were the two I needed to talk about. And it was 11-something in the evening. So I wasn't going to disrupt my friends' evenings and burden them. So instead, I came to Reddit thinking not many would see it. The response I received was overwhelming. I want to say thank you to everyone that sent me kind words and advice. Thank you so much for all the virtual hugs. I only commented once, that is because I had so much to think about and do. I appreciate all the love and support. There was so much amazing advice given in the comments, and although a lot of it was American-based, I still appreciate it. But one thing I did see a lot was to unblock them and keep the texts and calls as evidence, so I did do that. After posting and another good cry, I knew that I had to get myself together. I didn't have my sister or any family to help, so I had to do it myself. I started researching what my next steps were. In the morning, my friend called me saying my sister contacted her wondering if I had been in contact with her. I told her what happened, and she very kindly offered her spare room and her day off work to help me sort stuff out. I called in sick at my job, and my friend helped get things done. I got in contact with my friend who works at a bank, and she helped me start sorting my financials. My friend also found me a lawyer to consult with. After my phone consultation with a lawyer, I was so overwhelmed. I now know why so many women don't divorce their cheating husbands. It's such a lengthy, expensive, and emotionally draining process. I fortunately make a stable income and can support myself, and we, fortunately, don't have kids. I have to remember that things aren't going to happen in one day, and it will all take time. As for the house, unfortunately, his parents bought it for us. And to be honest, after what I saw, I don't want it. I will try to get reimbursed for my beloved kitchen though. Otherwise, it can burn for all I care. This has been super draining, but I knew I had to talk to them. I already knew there was no coming back for my husband. And when I checked his messages, they said exactly what I thought they would say. I'm sorry, it's not what it looks like. Wouldn't mean for it to happen. Please come home. I love you. Blah blah blah. Just absolute BS. A small part of me thought maybe I could find it in me to forgive my sister as we only have each other. But after I opened her messages, all hope was lost. She used the same excuses we heard our father use when he cheated on our mother and beat us. She said the same things our mother would say when she would excuse our dad's behavior and also beat us. I spoke to her this morning and asked her to tell me straight up who, what, where, when, and why. She told me back in July when I went on a girls' trip, she was at our house and joked to my husband that I would cheat on him on a girls' trip because that's what always happens. He said nah, and they joked about it, but she said he could get even with me and they ended up doing it once. One time led to 2 to 3, then to whenever they could do it. There was never any evidence or signs or anything that I was going to or even thinking of cheating. I told her we were done, and there was nothing she could do to bring us back together. I later received a call from an unknown number. It was my mother, who I haven't spoken to in 7 years. Turns out my sister has been in contact with her and told her what had happened. And my POS mother, the same woman who beat me for breathing wrong, had the audacity to say this is what I get for taking her daughters away from her. It hurts so much. I know things are going to get messier and this is going to be a long few years. I've now lost all my blood relations. I need to get all my things and find a new place. I want to show them that I can and I will thrive without them. Again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all the love and advice. And to all the people in the comments that could relate to me, I'm so sorry. I'm very proud of you for taking charge and standing up for yourself. I know it's very hard, but you got this. You will get through this. Thank you for your kind words. It's pretty hard losing the only family I had, but I'm trying so hard to stay optimistic. Betrayal like this is freaking devastating. It will be long and hard and draining, but I will make it. Screw them. Family is more than blood. You happen to have some amazing friends. Keep them. You can do it, and you will make it through this. Your sister basically instigated the whole thing, and you had best believe this was very intentional on her part. She waited until you were gone, then went around to your husband and told him you would cheat on him, and he was stupid enough to go along with it. I'm not condoning your husband at all, as he is definitely trash, but your sister is definitely the worst here. You sound like you have great friends around you, and I hope you can get in for some therapy as well, as this level of betrayal is huge and devastating. Make sure you tell everyone exactly what happened and shame both of them. No one will think worse of you. They will see them for the disgusting a-holes they both are. Thank you for your comment. It's a hard pill to swallow, but yes, she did instigate the whole thing. Why? I don't know. And my ex-husband is very stupid and pathetic to go along with it. Sorry, but your husband didn't take much convincing, did he? He is trash. I have never, and will never, understand why people cheat. Best of luck, and I'm proud of you. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for inviting all but one of my siblings on vacation? Original post. I'm female 32 and my husband male 36, and our children typically spend one vacation every year with my older sister Mary 37, her husband John 39, and their children. The kids are very close and spend a lot of time together. My sister and I have 2 younger sisters, 31 and 27, and a younger brother, 25. This year, I extended an invite to sisters 39, 27, and brother. An invite that was not extended to sister Selena, 31, because a few years ago, she and my brother-in-law John had an affair. Mary worked very hard through therapy to stay married with John and to not ostracize Selena. Family members know of the affair, but it's not spoken of openly. Selena and John still see each other at family events but do not talk/sit with each other. Pretty awkward, but maybe the best possible outcome. My older sister and I found a beach house for our next vacation that had extra room, so invited the others to join and pitch in on the cost. Sister 27 agreed to come, and little brother declined so that it would not be all the siblings minus Selena. Somehow, Selena found out she was the only one to not receive an invite and is very hurt. Our mom says I should have invited her, knowing that she would have said no because she just had a baby and is a single mom on a very tight budget. Mom also thinks that a vacation with John, Mary, and Selena would be fine, that we should all act as if nothing ever happened. Even though Mary has expressed multiple times that while she still loves Selena, things can never go back to the way they were. Mary suffered from PTSD as a result of the affair. Because there are so many siblings, vacations are often split with only 2 or 3 of us going together. Nobody has expressed being upset about this in the past. I don't like the idea of inviting her, even knowing 99% she would say no. Because what if she did say yes, and I have to tell her it wasn't a real invite? Am I the a-hole? Edit to add clarification. John has also suffered real consequences from the affair, but asking him to stay at home while Mary and their young kids go to the beach is not really an option. All of the siblings have been really mature in loving and forgiving both parties. However, having them sleep in the same house would be putting Mary through trigger hell, the only one in the trio not at fault. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. She and John should have foreseen what would happen if they had an affair. John is lucky Mary kept him. I am sorry Selena feels left out, but she made her bed. It's just a pity you can't leave John out too. Edit to add. Again, this is a vacation Opie and Mary do every year. Opie isn't inviting John. Opie is inviting Mary, who wants to have her husband there along with her kids. It's just as much Mary's vacation as it is Opie's. If it was reversed and a vacation that Opie always did with Selena, then hands down Opie would have been the a-hole. But it wasn't. It isn't Opie's choice if Mary chooses to stay with her children's father and make it work. But I commend her for trying to stay on her side. And it isn't like Selena isn't invited to family events. Just vacations with Mary, so Mary can relax on said vacation. Depending on the age of their kids, it might not make for a very relaxing vacation for Mary if John doesn't come. Or maybe John is still a worthless a-hole and doesn't lift a finger. I don't know, but that seems like Mary's decision. Mary would never go on vacation without him. His kids would be heartbroken. He's a great dad in reality, and outside of the infidelity, was a good husband. Great dads do not teach their children that cheating is okay. He doesn't teach them that. They're young and have no inkling of the details that are not involved in the family drama, as it should be. I can believe Selena is excluded from these gatherings because she did an unforgivable thing. What I cannot understand is why John gets to stay married to Mary and gets invited to big family gatherings like everything is fine. He also did an unforgivable thing and has suffered no consequences. I don't even have a judgment, but I do not agree that this situation is the best possible outcome. I feel like that's up to Mary. She chose to stay married with him and wants him on the trips. Doesn't make her an a-hole for deciding to stay. Mom, I appreciate that you think that it would be fine if Selena came, but I disagree. Mary's still deeply hurt, and despite the fact that she manages to still see Selena as her sister, it would be wrong to take advantage of her goodwill by putting her in a bad situation. And it is simply wrong to extend an invitation to someone who is not actually going to be permitted to come. It unfairly gets their hopes up. And if they do accept the invitation, they then have to be uninvited, which is far more painful. Not the a-hole. However, there is a big difference between going on a trip with 1 or 2 other siblings versus all the siblings with one exclusion. It's not at all surprising that Selena is feeling hurt, that she has been specifically excluded. If you were ever in a situation like this again, I would proactively reach out to Selena and let her know that you were not intentionally excluding her from the sibling group. You were just unable to include her due to the history. She'll still be hurt, but at least she won't be blindsided when she inevitably hears about the trip she isn't invited on. Now for the update for anyone curious. By the way, thanks for the comments/suggestions/support. Turns out to be a classic case of the emotionally immature mother manipulating her children. I spoke with Selena directly to set the story straight, reiterate that I love her, etc. It appears that our mom fabricated the story of Selena being upset about the vacation. She understands completely, and honestly has no interest in vacationing with Mary and John. Our mom is unhappy about our family dynamic, and that things are not completely normal after the affair. She stated she feels like she's losing all of her children, and that she doesn't feel close to us. I don't know how stirring up drama fixes this. She's highly religious and critical of everything we do. So as my siblings and I grow older, we've really had to deconstruct our beliefs to make up our own minds, / thrive in our individuality. Needless to say, this does not make her happy. So if there are any threads on healing from childhood trauma / dealing with manipulative parents / advice on how to keep your mother at arm's length possibly, point me in the right direction. I don't think enough time and therapy in the world could possibly make me stay with someone who slept with my sibling. OMG, right? My friend's aunt was banging her sister's husband and got pregnant. She bragged about it and swore he was going to leave his wife for her. Welp, his wife gave him the ultimatum to choose, and he chose to stay with his wife and cut contact with his wife's sister. Still a gross situation. Did aunt keep the baby? She sure did. Of the nearly 8 billion people in the world, it shouldn't be that hard to not have an affair with your partner's sibling or your employee / employer. But what if it was an accident? Is the monthly theme of AITA siblings having affairs with their siblings' partners? Honestly, my sister and I had a talk when we were in high school. We both expressed how happy we are that we have completely different taste in men. This is just what I was thinking. My sister and I are both decent people, so we wouldn't sleep with each other's partners anyway. But the fact that neither of us are ever even slightly attracted to each other's partners makes it so much easier. John has also suffered real consequences from the affair, but asking him to stay at home while Mary and their young kids go to the beach is not really an option. Poor guy, all he did was screw his wife's sister. I hope he's getting the emotional support he needs. The comments from the post gave me more context. 1. Without John there, all the childcare of 3 young kids would fall on Mary, and that means she wouldn't have a vacation at all. And 2, this was always Opie and Mary's way for their kids to have nice bonding time. But if half the kiddos are missing their dad, the whole thing would be pointless. In my opinion, their mistake was opening the chance of drama by inviting other siblings on their yearly thing, but hindsight is 2020. Update. I hurt my fiancé and lost her trust. Original post. I, male 32, proposed to my fiancé, female 39, 2 months ago and she said yes. I love her with all my heart. She's very sweet and intelligent and drop dead hot. Only problem that we were facing was that I haven't met her family because she has not had any contact with them for 20 years. And for my family, that's a red flag. Mom suggested to me that since we are engaged now, they're my family too, so we contacted them. Her mom was so sweet, and she started crying the moment I introduced myself. Her father is also very kind. They talked to me about her childhood, how wonderful and kind she always been, and it made a lot of sense what she turned up to be. I thanked them for raising such a beautiful human. I kept in touch with them and I soon met all her siblings. She has 3. Then I introduced them to my family and I was happy they got along. Mom suggested then that the next step is to invite my future in-laws to my parents' house and take my fiancé there so she could finally work on the dispute that she had with them. She never told me, and when we asked her parents, they didn't know either. When she got there, she screamed, "What are they doing here?" and ran out. I have never heard her raise her voice like this before. I ran after her, but she just drove off. I went back and apologized. Her mom was crying her eyes out, and so were her sisters. Her dad and brother looked cut up. When I went home, she was crying and packing. She told me that she needed to move out and that she was staying with her friends. I also started crying and asked her to tell me what happened. When she was 18, her brother, 19 at the time, violated her best friend's little sister, then 17. He apparently had feelings for this girl for years, but she never was interested, so one New Year party, he waited until she was very drunk and forced himself on her. He later boasted about how he finally had her and now can move on. He got away with it, even when everybody knew he did, but there was no evidence. My fiancé tried everything to help convict him, because she was the one who overheard him boasting to his friends and discussed what he did to that girl. My fiancé's family did everything to protect him, and a year later, the girl ended herself. That broke my fiancé, who still suffers from severe depression. She said the indifference in her family's reaction when they found out about a girl's fate still makes her blood freeze in her veins. She knew she could never forgive them. The way she was talking is like this happened yesterday. I felt sick, and I wished I didn't have to ask. I have seen her brother and how proud her parents are of their only boy, who's successful and a father of 2. I apologized and begged her to stay. Told her that had she told me all this before, I would never have brought them back to her life. She said that I should have trusted her judgment, since I always boasted about how kind and just she was. She called me later and told me that she couldn't do this anymore. Today she left the ring while I was at work and took the last of her stuff. I felt like my world is turned upside down. Tell me what I should do to make her forgive me. She's so angry with me and my family, and I totally understand her. Mom says that my fiancé is being overdramatic now, and all this has happened so long ago, and we should all move on since her family still loved and wanted her back. I don't know what to do. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. The issue is, you still don't see the actual problem. Your mistake was not to underestimate what happened. Your mistakes were to not trust her judgment and going behind her back. And it's not your nor your mother's place to say if she overreacts or not. It doesn't matter if you like her family. It doesn't matter if her parents love her. You prove that you still don't get it with your last paragraph. This exactly. He literally acknowledges blaming her for his going around her back and seems to have zero self-awareness about it even in this post. She literally had no control over the situation, but Opie still wants to make it her fault. Just amazing. Yeah, when he said we, I thought he meant his fiancé and him, not his mom. Yeah, I don't blame your fiancé one bit. Your mom sounds super crazy, and I can't believe you went along with her instead of shutting her down. Sounds like Opie's ex dodged a just-no mother-in-law. Good for her. This whole mess aside, his mom would have made this woman's life miserable. In what freaking world would be a healthy, functioning adult that you loved be no contact for 20 years for a silly issue? This fight should have started and ended with Opie asking his fiancé for details and her blowing up about having to explain herself. End of story. Going behind her back? WTF. Red flag is not talking to fiancé but his mother, and following his mother's advice behind his fiancé's back. Opie is an idiot. Now for the first update. Good morning. What a rough night I had after trying to read all of your comments, DMs, and messages. Filled with nightmares. I have called my fiancé before breakfast. I told her that I love her more than she even knows, and that I know she loves me. That I never in a million years thought people who loved each other this much would break up. I apologized and promised to make it up to her for the rest of my life if she gave me a second chance. I told her we can move away from our families, and I promised her that it would be the two of us from now on. Nobody will have a say in how we live our lives but us. She was crying the whole time, and I must admit that I'm not a crier myself, but I haven't stopped crying since yesterday. I hope she gives me a new chance to make it up to her. Second update. I want to start by saying I've never experienced so much hate in my life before like what I got on my post from yesterday. I'm not mad, however. I appreciate that you took my now ex-fiancé's party because she deserves all the love and support. I hurt her badly, and I can't even describe how much I regret my actions. The only thing I can say is that it was never intentionally done to hurt her. I thought I was doing something good. We are no longer together. She said that she couldn't come back from this and that she wanted to be alone now. I told her that I love her like I never loved anyone before. I have loved her for over 10 years. She said that she loved me too, but that she needed to do this on her own now. So we are done. I need a break now from everything and especially from my family. I will never blame my wretched behaviors on anybody. I chose to do the wrong thing. Nobody made me, but I still feel resentment towards everyone who helped me hurt my girl. I need to be alone now too. Thank you again. Bye. I hate to say it, but I hope Opie learns to trust those who are in his life over his parents. Opie's old enough not to listen to everything his parents say to him. At least Opie knows he has no one to blame but himself. Also, I hope Opie asks his mother why she believes avoiding a rapist is a bad thing. Dude, I just feel like Opie's using his mom to deflect blame. Only problem that we were facing was that I haven't met her family because she has not had any contact with them for 20 years. And for my family, that's a red flag. Mom suggested to me that since we are engaged now, their family too, so we contacted them. He himself said that he thought this was a red flag. So when his mom suggested it, he jumped to it and decided to go see them. His mom only ever suggests things to him. She herself never acts and does anything. I kept in touch with them and I soon met all her siblings. She has 3. Then I introduced them to my family and I was happy they got along. He keeps on being actively in contact with these people without informing his ex. He just kept it all hidden from her. At this point, his mom wasn't telling him to keep contact. He did it by himself. Mom suggested then that the next step is to invite my future in-laws to my parents' house and take my fiancé there so she could finally work on the dispute that she had with them. She never told me, and when we asked her parents, they didn't know either. Why does he at no point tell his ex what is happening? Why does he keep plotting behind her back with his mom and her family? No one is telling him to do this. No one is telling him to keep this hidden. This is all on him because he wants to get her back with her family. He's also admitted in the comments that he doesn't have that good of a relationship with his mom, and this is what's going to make him cut off for good. Like, if your relationship isn't that great, why would you listen to her? He wasn't. He was just using her as an excuse to hide behind if the ex got upset with him. But it didn't work. So now he's mad at everyone because his dumb plan failed him. Good riddance. That's what really got me from his story. He saw her family more than once. Every time he met with them, he must have lied to her about where he was. It was just one meet and greet. He saw and spoke to these people many, many times, and then blindsided her with an unexpected meeting. He betrayed her over and over again, and showed so much disrespect for her. I really don't understand how he thought this whole situation was going to end well. I'm sorry for both of you. Truly am. I hope this serves as a lesson for you and for everyone who reads your story. To believe your significant other when it comes to their family and to respect their boundaries. Your significant other's decisions are first. If they have a strong decision about something and they don't give you a reason, just respect it. It's a boundary. You don't have a say in that. And I hope Opie learns from this. I could never forgive something like this. I'm an assault survivor myself, and it was a family member. My mom is the only person in my family that knows, and the day she asks me to talk again to that person, she is done. You have to respect the boundaries, and to know which is your place in other person's life and decision. Wish Opie nothing but learning. Learning from this, learning about boundaries, learning to stop listening to mom and those kinds of things, learning to listen more to his partners, and learning to respect. Third update. I mentioned earlier that my fiancé's been home on sick leave. Her best friend called me now and we talked. My fiancé is pregnant and she's terminating it. She doesn't want me with her when she goes through with it. I am shattered now and I don't know if I ever can collect the pieces. How life can turn upside down in a matter of weeks. I lost everything and I only have myself to blame. Now for the fourth update. I was hesitant to make this update because you hate me so. And also I'm worried that your strong feelings of hatred will be misdirected to my fiancé. But I chose to write here the first time and I want to see it through. And hopefully people can learn from my mistakes. Plus, I'm anonymous, so yeah. I want to thank the people who reached out in my DMs, who didn't dare to comment out of fear of being downvoted all the way down to hell. Thank you. Your support helped me not to lose my mind completely. This update is for you first and foremost because I literally can't answer all of you. My fiancé called me today after her appointment at her shrink. She asked me if I wanted to have lunch with her. She looked so sad and it broke my heart. This was the first time I saw her after she moved out. I just wanted to hug her and break down crying, ask her forgiveness, but I didn't want to make it about me, so I just kissed her cheek. She didn't talk for at least 30 minutes, just looked out of the window. I waited. Then she told me that it didn't matter that I didn't hurt her intentionally. I just did. I agreed. She started talking about her appointment with her gyno. She's 6 weeks. We have been trying for a year, but we never made a big fuss. We just thought that if it happened, it happened. But I know that she wanted a baby. And that's why her best friend told me because she was terrified that my fiancé is going to regret it. I told my fiancé that it was absolutely 100% her choice whether she wanted to keep it or not. But that she should never do it either from a place of hurt or anger. She should do it because it feels right for her. She then told me that she's going to think a little bit more. She also told me that she was ready to talk to me about her life with her family, but never in details and only in therapy sessions. She also said that she was ready to listen to me, and what made me do this stupid thing to her, but also only in therapy. She also told me that she doesn't want to move back with me and that she wanted to postpone the wedding. She refused to take the ring back, and said she will ask for it when/if she thought we had a chance. She said that if we separate, she wants to know she's done everything. I told her I love her more than anything, and she said she believed me, and that she did too. We are starting therapy on Tuesday and will hopefully continue every week. I've spoken to her friend now, and she said that my fiancé looks like she's feeling a bit better after our lunch, and that she even made a joke. So I'm hopeful. Now for more comments before the last update. Since you're treading lightly with this new potential second chance, I'd highly recommend you stop talking to her friend about her behind her back. If she finds out you've been getting intel on her emotional state from someone close to her after she specifically said she wanted to do this healing separately and in therapy only, that would be another blow. Hope you learned your lesson with not allowing your mom to meddle, but you might be making another mistake here with a friend that could come back and bite you. She needs to know she can trust you to keep things between you two sacred. Nip it in the bud, bud. This literally just stop doing things behind her back. Having her wedding and pregnancy ruined, and having to face her family after 20 years, and they were together for 10 years. I get we all make mistakes, but I can't even imagine how awful she feels. This is your mulligan to make things right. Do not ever let your mother influence or interfere with your relationship like that again, whether it's with her or your next relationship. If it ever comes down to picking between her or your mother, always think about the moment you almost lost your fiancé. In fact, do not even tell your mother. Now for the last update. Look, before you start the attack on me, also leave my baby alone. We are keeping them. I just want you to know that I love my girl. I have loved her for years. Even before we got together and when she finally agreed to go out with me, I started looking for rings. I have never done anything to hurt her before. She knows this, and I appreciate that she took it into consideration before throwing me out of her life. What I did was unforgivable, but sometimes good things can come from a bad situation. In our case, she will never have to carry that burden alone. I can finally share her secret and support her. After her initial feelings of anger and betrayal have calmed down, I can see that she's tortured. And while she has been in therapy for years, she still has a long way left, or if she comes to terms with what happened. I'm just glad that I can continue this journey with her. So we had our first session with a therapist and it was emotionally draining. I hated seeing her so hurt, but I realized how important it was. I always view her as this beautiful, stubborn, strong creature, and maybe I have handled her accordingly. She is tough, so I can be tough. You get me? Beside therapy, she has asked for space, and I would have obliged had she not called every night to talk for hours. How cute is that? Last night I asked her to move back and she didn't hang up. She didn't answer me first and we continued talking about other things. Before saying goodnight, she told me that she wanted to come home. We will continue therapy, but she is moving back tomorrow, and that's why I'm making this update now. When she's home, I don't want to be busy answering comments. Since we both have no relationship with our families, we are contemplating an elopement around Christmas. A wedding seems too excessive and waste of money, planned for August next year. Instead, we could do something small and romantic for our friends and maybe donate the rest of the budget. This idea excited her very much, and she already started planning and dreaming while I listened. I just freaking love this woman. This is a weird one. Couples working and solving their issues is a great thing. But this guy made such a grave violation of his fiancé's trust. I can't help but wonder when the next one will be. Yep, he realized he messed up only because what the family did was so egregious. But what if it wasn't so black and white? Like maybe they just favored her siblings more and made her feel bad about herself. Or something he didn't consider serious? Either way, he didn't respect her right to choose for herself. Figured he knew better, and that he had a right to go against her wishes as long as he thought he had a good reason for it. He doesn't acknowledge that that's the part where he messed up. Only that it was bad because of what her family did. He's going to do it again the next time he thinks he's got a good reason. Because he doesn't respect her or her right to decide for herself. Or what can I do to make her forgive me? He's a slimy, spineless POS. And I'm sad for the fiancé who may now be trauma bonded and can't see past his BS. Also, the amount that he puts her on a pedestal and calls her a creature is freaking sickening. He doesn't see her as a person, only as a trophy and a possession. To hell with Opie's mom, and damn that poor fiancé's family especially. I wonder how long Opie will be able to keep his mom out of his life, especially when the baby comes.